morning. So let's find our comfortable seat at the front of the mat. We're just coming into a seated position that allows us to have a straight, aligned spine. We're comfortable, we're relaxed, we're present, and we're going to take a moment to just check in. So take a huge inhale through your nose, and just sigh your breath out your mouth. It's kind of like you're signaling to yourself that now is the time for yoga. So if you're comfortable with your eyes closed, close your eyes. If you don't want to close your eyes, you can just kind of have a soft, fuzzy gaze. But I want you to really start feeling into your body, noticing each and every body part, what you're feeling and where. And then you can begin to deepen your breath. If you're comfortable with Ujjayi breathing, do that. And if not, you can just do a comfortable, slow, deep diaphragmatic breath. And then just start checking in with your thoughts, with your emotions, with your energy. Notice how connected you feel to anything, honestly. Do you feel connected to anything? Do you feel connected to yourself, or to other people, or to your planet, or to your creator? Do you feel any connection at all? And if so, how connected? And then let's go ahead and set our intention for our practice. So we're going to bring palms together in front of the heart. We're going to be really clear about what we need. You can't get what you need if you don't even know what it is, right? So just taking a moment, using all the information you just gathered while you were paying attention to yourself to set your intention. Take a deeper breath in. And another big exhale through the mouth. Good. And just roll your shoulders back a moment. So on Monday, we really played with holding the poses for a long time. We're going to play with more movement today. And so we're going to be starting with some sun salutations. And I'm going to give you 2 variations, including modifications even for those. And then after we've done each one of them a few times, I'm actually going to have you do a few on your own. So I'm giving you that heads up. So as we start to move through these 2 different variations, you can kind of choose like, yeah, I think this is the one for me. So without further ado, let's go straight into a downward facing dog. Wiggle the feet a little bit if you feel like you need to. And then find some stillness, find some spinal length. Begin to walk your feet forward, keeping your knees bent, neck relaxed, taking a few breaths to just kind of hang in ragdoll. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, bring your palms together in front of your heart. So let's actually start with a basic sun breath. Now you guys have done this with me before. It's basically just forward bending and standing back up, but you do it in time to your breathing. So I'm gonna offer you this as like the easiest thing to do when we take off on our own. This might be what's appropriate for you today. Everybody's got different stuff happening, right? So your practice is about what's best for you. I'll go ahead and face you guys while we do this. So just start with your palms together in front of your heart. Inhale and make a big circle with your arms up and overhead. And then as you exhale, make another big circle with your arms as you fold forward. And it's okay if you bend your knees, but try and let your fingertips brush the earth. And then another big circle as you come all the way back up, palms touching overhead. Exhale, bring your hands to prayer in front of your heart. So that would be one sun breath. So this is a nice gentle option. Inhaling, reaching the arms up. Exhaling, making that big circle, maybe brushing the earth with your fingertips, inhaling all the way back up, and exhaling, bringing your palms together in front of your heart. Let's do that one more time. And you can think of it as inhaling and gathering up all of this energy. Exhaling, sweeping even more energy up, even from the earth, and inhaling all the way back up, and then all of this energy that you've gathered, you exhale and you bring it to your heart. So remember, you're welcome to do this when we take off on our own. The next thing that we'll play with is a really gentle variation of a sun salutation. This is in the Shivananda tradition. And you can always modify this too. So there's a little bit of a plank position in this. For those of you that have wrist issues, that flow that we always use in class, child's pose, sphinx, down dog, you can insert that anywhere. So here we go. We'll inhale and reach the arms up. And we'll exhale and fold forward. We're going to do the first one slow. Inhale and step back with your left foot. And go ahead and drop the left knee down. You're going to keep your knee down. You're going to keep your hands down. Just lift your chest and kind of sink your hips and your heart forward. So this is a really simple one. But again, if you need to modify this part that has a plank and a lowering down in it, let me know. I'm still going to show you the traditional one here, all right? So from here, you would step your right leg back to a plank position and immediately drop your knees down. This will make it easier for you. And then from here, you kind of shift your chest forward because you want to keep your toes on the ground, your knees on the ground, and you want your chest and your forehead to touch. Your backside is still in the air. It's a posture of humility. And then you can just kind of flatten yourself out, untuck your toes, lift your chest a little bit for a low cobra, and then turn the toes under, downward facing dog. We'll step forward with our left foot. You want to get it up between the hands. Go ahead and drop the right knee down. Keep it down as you pull your chest forward. Hands stay down. That's what's different about this one. And it's also what makes it a little bit easier. You just stay connected to your mat the whole time. And then step your right foot forward to a standing forward bend. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. I'm going to talk us through two more. And just kind of to help you out, let's just say left every time. So always initiate your movements with your left foot. If you step back with your left foot, and then after down dog, you step forward with your left foot, you'll always be even. So just think left foot today. And there's a movie about that, right? My left foot. All right, here we go. Round two of these. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, left leg back, knee drops down. Exhale, sink the hips forward. Inhale, step to plank. Exhale, drop down, knees, chest, and forehead. Inhale as you flatten out, lift your chest a little bit for cobra. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale that left foot forward, drop your right knee down, lift the chest, exhale, sink your hips forward. Good. As you're inhaling, you begin stepping your right foot forward so that as you exhale, you fold all the way down. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. Once more, just so you got it. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale your left leg back, drop your knee, lift your chest, exhale, sink forward. Inhale, plank position. Exhale, drop down, knees, chest, and forehead. Inhale, flattening out, lifting the chest a little bit for a cobra. Exhaling into downward facing dog. Inhaling the left foot forward, dropping the right knee. Exhaling as you sink forward, hands stay down. And then inhaling as you begin to step the right foot forward so that as you exhale, you can sink all the way into your forward bend. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, palms together. All right. Here's your second variation of a sun salutation, and a lot of you guys will probably recognize it from things we've done in class. It also has a plank and a lowering down. So just a reminder, you can always do child's pose, sphinx, and down dog instead of the plank series. This one will be a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't really want to say rigorous because it's not. It's peaceful if you're doing it with your breath, but it might be a little bit more challenging. So choose wisely. All right, here we go. Palms together in front of the heart. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. We're just going to stick with that left foot. So step back with your left foot and you'll stay in your lunge. All right. So we'll do this first one slow. In this variation, the knee never hits the ground. And what's different is that you have an extra down dog. From your lunge, you step to downward facing dog. Then you shift forward into plank. You lower down however it works for you, as long as you're conscious of not hurting your shoulders. And then you come into either a cobra or an upward facing dog, and then another downward facing dog. And then it's that left foot stepping forward, and you're just in the lunge. You don't drop the knee or do anything else. And then you step your right foot forward. Inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, palms together in front of the heart. Let's do it a couple more times. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, left leg back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale into plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale into upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale back into downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot forward. Exhale, right foot forward, forward bend. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. Last time I'm going to talk you through this one. Inhale up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale the left leg back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale into plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale into upward facing dog and exhale into downward facing dog. Inhale the left foot forward. Exhale the right foot forward into your forward bend. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, palms together in front of your heart. So just take a moment standing in mountain pose, Tadasana. Roll your shoulders back a couple of times. You should already be plenty warm, right? But what I'd like for you to do is experience this movement in time to your own breath, at your own rate, and let it kind of be silent and contemplative, and I apologize, it's not really silent. I'm hoping that my microphone isn't picking up all the noise outside. There's a lot of work going on. This neighborhood's always got noise, right? So hopefully it'll be quiet where you are and you can't hear from my phone. But here's what I'd like you to do. You're gonna choose, because we're gonna do 3 more rounds of something. If you're already fatigued, let it just be 3 more rounds of a sun breath, right? If you prefer, let it be 3 rounds of the Shivananda sun salutations, where you dropped a knee and kept your hands down. Remember, you can always substitute child's pose Sphinx down dog instead of the plank flow. Or if you prefer, do the really traditional Hatha sun salutations that we just did, where you step back into a lunge and you have the extra down dog. And don't get caught up on whether it's like all the movements are perfect. I want you to just flow in time to your own breathing, let go of any preconceived notions of what it should look like, or any performance anxiety or any of that. I want you to just kind of go inward and flow for a little bit. So come to the top of your mat, find Tadasana for a moment, choose what it is that would be best for you right now. 3 rounds of something, palms together. And we'll all start together, and then as we finish, we'll all just kind of stand in mountain pose for a few breaths and let it sink in while everybody else is finishing. Right, off you go. So if you are done, just close your eyes if you're comfortable standing there with your eyes closed. And just kind of take a moment and notice how different it is to just move to the sound of your breath, and how easy it is to go inward and pay attention to yourself. So you should feel pretty warm. You should feel pretty alive right now. So we're going to be playing a little bit with Half Moon today. I'd like you to go ahead and turn sideways. Take a nice wide side step. We're going to kind of start getting ourselves ready for that. That's our peak pose today. And we're going to start by just going into a nice warrior 2, right foot forward. So your left foot's going to rotate in, your right foot's going to rotate out. You're going to bend the right knee, press it towards the little toe. Arms are out to the side. And you really do, in this case, want to imagine that your thighs are rolling outward because that will help you when you get to half moon. Take a couple of breaths here. Go ahead, if you can, and take the fingertips of your right hand all the way down to the floor, inside your right foot. Take your left arm straight up towards the ceiling. Come back up and straighten your right leg. Really keep your legs straight during your triangle today. Kick your hips to the left. Lengthen your rib cage to the right and see if you can find a nice inner thigh stretch, hamstring stretch, spine lengthening triangle today. Arms are just kind of open like a T if your shoulders allow, because that's what will happen in a half moon. Good. Come on up from that. Rotate your right foot in. Rotate your left foot out. Find warrior two first. So the left knee bends, the knee presses out towards the little toe. You want to imagine those thighs rolling outward. Take a couple breaths. And then we'll take the left hand, or the fingertips at least, all the way down to the inside of the left foot if you can. Right hand up towards the ceiling. So this is side angle, Barsva Konasana. Come all the way back up, straightening your left leg, keeping the legs straight, kicking that right hip out to the right, lengthening to the left to find your triangle pose on the left side. And again, we're looking to open up the inner thighs, the hamstrings. We want our arms kind of like a T if possible, and we want the spine long. Good. Come on up from that. And then just step your feet together and roll your shoulders back. We're going to do it on the ground first, and then we're going to do the full shebang, and we're going to do it, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 times. Woo, how fun. So what I'd like you to do is just come onto your hands and knees, because this is going to allow you to feel what it should feel like in your body without being quite so worried about balance. So you know how I have you guys kick a foot out for a modified side plank? We're going to do that. We'll start with the right foot. Kick it out to the right and kick it way out to the right. You're going to want to feel balanced here, because before anything else, you're going to stick your left leg straight behind you into the air, parallel to the ground. And then if you feel balanced enough, roll your heart open, taking left hand up towards the ceiling. This is what it should feel like when you're actually standing on your right foot. Just kind of make a mental note. Muscle memory here. Bring it back down. Take a moment, and then let's do the other side. So you're going to kick your left foot out. You want it kind of way out so you've got more of the tripod to balance on. Stick your right leg into the air, parallel to the ground. And then go ahead and take your right hand up towards the ceiling. So this is like half moon on your knee. And where we're going from here is half moon on your foot. So take a moment and feel what it feels like to have yourself rolling open here. And then go ahead and bring it down. Give yourself a child's pose. And then just transition straight into downward facing dog. Tailbone up and back. Stretch for a moment. And then just go ahead and walk your feet forward. And come all the way up to standing. Now, for those of you who have blocks, you're welcome to use one. I'll just show you really quickly, if you are going to use a block, the best way to do it. You would hold it in your front hand, and it just depends on if you need a lot of help, you hold it so that you've got full length. If you need a medium amount of help, you hold it here. And if you just need a little, you can make it flat. So it's up to you. And if you're feeling really wobbly, but you want to try this and you have wall space, You can do it with your back against a wall so you feel safer. But here are the mechanics of it. We'll start on our right foot. So if you look down at your right foot, the first thing you want to see is that your toes are spread and you got a lot of surface area of your foot on the ground. Now, kind of gauge how long your torso is. This is really important. So that when you start to hinge from your hip, your right hand will be torso distance in front of your right foot. And the reason I say that is I see a lot of people put their right hand really close to their right foot, and that just makes it harder to balance. You don't want to do that. You want your spine long, and you want a wider base to balance on. Here's the other trick. Your right hand is not going to be directly in front of your right foot. It's ever so slightly offset to the right. So if you make a nice like high five sign with your right hand, and you lean down, and it's fine if you want to bend your right knee to do it. Now, if you're using a block, pretend your block is your thumb. Otherwise, your right thumb lines up with your right little toe, and it's torso distance in front of your foot. So you can also do that with your block. As much as your body allows, your right leg straightens, your left leg lifts, if you can, parallel to the ground. And then if possible, you start to roll your chest open, just like we did when we were on our knee, and take that left hand up towards the ceiling. If you're feeling extra grounded, you can try and look up at your left thumb. And if that makes things a little crazy for you, then you can look down or look forward. Come on out of that. And let's try the other side. Sometimes one side's a lot easier. And this has a lot to do with hamstrings, hips, balance, shoulders. So cut yourself some slack. All right, look down at your left foot. Make sure your toes are spread out. Make a high five with your left hand, unless you're holding a block. Torso distance between left foot and left hand. Left thumb is aligned with the little toe on the left foot. The right leg is extending parallel to the ground. Right arm is reaching up towards the ceiling, and maybe you're looking up. Bring it all back down. Come on up to standing. And roll your shoulders back. Good. So I said we were probably going to do it more than once. We are. Depends on where you're at today. This is kind of like the you choose yoga practice today, because I want you to be really secure in doing what's best for your body. If you're still just working on even getting half moon, you just play with half moon again. If you're having one of those days where you're like, ooh, I'm a big bad yogi and I got this, then we're going to transition from a warrior 3 into our half moon. So you do what's best for you. We're doing the right foot again. So if you're just going to do half moon, spread your right toes and off you go. If you're feeling a little more playful and bold, arms are up and overhead. Even if you're using a block, you can still do this, right? Lift your chest. Begin to hinge at your right hip, extending your left leg out behind you. So you come into your warrior 3 and you hold it. And then you just calmly put your right hand down where it belongs. Keep that left leg in the air. Take your left hand up towards the ceiling. Bring it all down. Come on up to standing. Same thing on the left side. Decide what you want to do. Are you feeling adventurous or are you feeling cautious? Pay attention to that and honor yourself. Toes of the left foot are spread. If you want to play with warrior 3, arms are going to be up and overhead. Right leg is extended behind you, and you're just going to hinge at your left hip. See if you can find your warrior 3. Take a breath. And then just let the left hand come down. Take your right hand towards the ceiling. And maybe roll open. And then bring it all back down and come on up to standing. Roll your shoulders back. Good. Come back up to the front of the mat. Bring your feet together. Bring your palms together. Let's stretch out for a moment. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, go ahead and fold all the way forward. Look up halfway, lengthen your spine. And then back down. Move onto your hands and knees. Do a couple of cat-cow stretches. Inhaling to arch. Exhaling to round. And then go ahead and take a much deserved child's pose. Just take a couple of breaths here. Let your back stretch out. Let your nervous system settle back down if the balancing was stressful for you. Those of you that would like to take a vinyasa from here, please feel free to do so. I'm going to flow with everybody else from child's pose into a nice spine lengthening sphinx. So if you've not done one of these yet, now is a great time to do it. Let's go ahead and lengthen the spine a little bit. And then downward facing dog. Just lengthening your down dog. All right, this will be the final work part of your practice today. In other words, this is the last thing that requires any effort. But again, please modify anything that you need to. From here, we're going to step the right foot forward, spin our left foot flat, come straight up into a warrior two. Take your left hand to your left thigh, reach the right arm up and over for a reverse warrior. We did this on Monday. And then you're going to come back into your warrior two. And if you can, transition straight into half moon. I warned you that we'd do it more than once, right? So you're just lifting off if you can. And then perhaps a bigger challenge, just go straight back into warrior two. Beautiful job, guys. Take your hands down, go straight to down dog. If you even attempted that, you get an automatic A. Take a breath in down dog. And then we're gonna step left foot forward, right foot spins flat, come right on up into your warrior two. Take your right hand to your right thigh, left arm up and over, reverse your warrior. Come back into warrior two, and then see if you can just shift forward. Take your half moon on the left. And then if possible, let's just put the right foot back down where we got it, warrior two. Nice. And then take your hands to the mat, go straight to downward facing dog, just stretch it out. Sink those heels, you guys. Sink them down, push your buns back. And then drop down to your knees. So a lot of what you've done has kind of hit that outer hip area. I'm just gonna do a little bit of stretching. So you're gonna take both feet to the right, look over your right shoulder, poke your left rib cage out, maybe even get a little bit of a stretch in the hip. Switch sides, take your feet to the left, look over your left shoulder, poke your right rib cage out, maybe even get a little stretch in the right hip. Good. Come back to the center. You're going to take your left knee behind your right knee, open the feet out a little bit, Sit back between the heels for a moment if you can. Honor knee issues, obviously. If you can get all the way back, if you're not super flexible in your hips, then you should feel this in the right outer hip. Now, some of you guys won't even feel it, and that's just awesome for you. So let's go ahead and come back onto hands and knees. Unwind your legs, and now take your right knee behind your left. Separate the feet, and go ahead and sit back between them. Good. Come back onto hands and knees. And just take one last downward facing dog. Push your tailbone up and back. And then we'll walk the feet forward. Have a seat, legs extended for Dandasana or staff pose. Find your sit bones. Lift your chest, bring your hands right behind your backside. Make sure your head feels balanced on top of your spine and that your legs are really active. We want every part of the body engaged. So I sometimes say it when we're standing at the front of the mat, but even here in this seated posture, you want to feel like every muscle in your body is just hugging your bones. It's just embracing your skeletal system. Check in with everything, the body, the breath, the mind, the heart, the energy, and your connection. And then when you're ready, take your legs wide. So yes, we're going back to, oh no, there's my outer hips again. Yes, it is your outer hips again. And in fact, before we even start to lean forward or do anything else, flex your feet. Make sure that your toes are pointing up and your legs are straight. As you start to push your rib cage forward, whether it's from the hands behind you or hands in front of you or on your feet, your hand position's up to you. I want you to imagine those outer hips tightening even a little bit more so that the inner thighs have a reflex release. So just take a moment with a straight spine. Imagine your outer hips tightening. And then just take a few breaths, letting gravity carry you wherever it is that your body needs to go today. So this can be one of those poses where we have a tendency to want to get somewhere or even be somewhat greedy about it. Like, oh, I just want my stomach to hit the floor or whatever. Don't be that way. Just be happy with wherever you are, even if you're barely leaning forward, because it's enough. Nothing changes if you get to the floor. Nothing. So just take about 3 more deep breaths here. And then come on up. Let's bring the legs back together. I'm gonna have you keep your left leg straight and bring your right foot all the way across your left thigh. Get your right foot completely flat. We're gonna keep the left leg straight for now. Lift up through your chest, put your right hand behind you and begin to twist to the right. Now, whether you can get your elbow outside the knee or not so important, but regardless, I want this knee to get pulled or pushed more towards the midline of the body if you can. In other words, not only are you getting a spinal twist, you're trying to get a little bit of outer hip sensation on that right side. Come all the way back around. Let your right foot just slide over so it's on top of your left thigh. Flex your right ankle, lean out over your left leg. Take a few breaths here. And then come on up from that, extend your right leg out. Keep the right leg straight. Bring your left foot across your right thigh. Try and get that whole left foot flat. And again, we're going to do our twist to the left. Even if you're just hugging your knee, pull it towards the midline of the body a little bit. If you get your elbow outside the knee, push it towards the midline of the body a little bit as you twist and look over the left shoulder. Rotate back around. Just let your left foot slide over so it's directly on top of your right thigh, just above the knee. Flex that left ankle and go ahead and lean out over your right leg for a few breaths. Come on up from that. Extend your left leg out. Wiggle the legs a little bit. You're going to lean back on your hands in a way that's comfortable to you. Bend your knees, bring your feet flat, and have your feet wider than your mat. We're just going to do a nice wide windshield wiper legs. Drop both legs to the right. Pause for a moment. You should get a gentle stretch on your left outer hip. Bring the legs back up, drop them over to the left. You should get a little stretch on that right outer hip. And we'll just go back and forth a couple more times. This should feel pretty gentle. This should not be super intense. And by the way, make sure you're not feeling it in your knee. You should be feeling it kind of up around the hip more. And then when you feel like you're even, when you've gone both ways an equal number of times, you can just roll onto your back. Give your knees a good hug and rock side to side. So keep your left knee hugged in. We're going opposites again. Keep your left knee hugged in and extend your right leg all the way out on the ground. I want you to be very mindful of back issues, but we're going to twist here. And what I'd like for you to do is let your left knee come into kind of a 90-degree angle. Like my knee is above my hip, my ankle is straight out from my knee, my foot is flexed. So it looks like a little froggy leg that's up in the air. You're going to use your right hand on the outside of your left thigh, and keeping it at this 90-degree angle, start to slowly bring it across the body and let it relax. Left arm opens out to the left, and we take a few breaths here. And I'd like you to keep your right hand on that left leg without letting the left thigh shift. See what it feels like to slowly, mindfully begin to straighten your left leg. In other words, you'd wind up with two straight legs, one that's sticking down parallel to the long sides of your mat, that would be your right leg, and your left leg, which is sticking out 90 degrees over to the right. If you can, the knee is straight. If you can, the foot is flexed. And if that's too much for your body, don't force it. We're here for a few more breaths. And then just come onto your back again. Hug your left knee in. Bring your right knee up to meet it. Go ahead and rock side to side. And now you're going to keep your right knee hugged in and extend your left leg all the way out onto the ground. Just hug your right knee for a moment. And then just like we did on the other side, I want you to let your right leg be like a 90-degree angle. So your right thigh is straight up. Your right shin is parallel to the floor. Your right foot is flexed. Your left hand is going to come to the outside of that right thigh and just gently start to pull it across your body till you get to a point where you can just relax and let your right arm open out to the right. You're just going to hold this for a couple breaths. Let your body adjust. Remember, honor your back. If any of this is too much for you, please modify it. And then keep your left hand on your right thigh because you want to hold it in place and see what happens if you straighten your right leg and maybe even flex the foot. So left leg is straight down your yoga mat. Right leg is trying to be straight. Maybe it is. Sticking out across your body to the left. Good. Coming up from that, hug your right knee in again. Bring your left knee up to meet it. Rock side to side. Good. And then let's just take a simple bridge for our inversion today. Remember, this can be as low or as high a bridge as you need it to be. Bringing big toes to touch, heels to separate. Start with your hands, palms down by your hips. And you can keep them there or interlace them underneath you once you lift up. The choice is yours. But we just start to lift our hips. We make sure we lift our rib cage as well. And take a few breaths here. On your next exhale, just start to lower down. Hug your knees into your chest, rock side to side. Grab your feet for a couple of breaths of happy baby action. So you can wiggle around, you do whatever feels good to you. When you feel like you're ready, put your feet on the mat. Let the knees drop open. Let your feet come together, soles of the feet together. Just take a moment, let your body relax, and then take a deep breath in, flatten your back. Exhale and release that, and begin to extend your legs. And find your comfortable Shavasana today. So just take a moment, really double checking that every part of your body is positioned where you need it to be so that you can commit yourself to stillness, so that you can truly rest in a relaxed state. Once you feel like your body parts are in the right place, close your eyes, soften your jaw. Let go of any control of the breath that you've had. Just let it go. And as you feel yourself truly letting go, we're just going to kind of cycle through our senses today. So first, I want you to become aware of how your body actually feels against the mat or against the floor, whatever the backside of your body is touching. How does it feel against your skin or against your body? And even though your eyes are closed, what are you seeing? So for some of us, we'll be sensitive to the fact that there is light outside of our eyelids, or Maybe you notice little flashes of light, or maybe you don't actually visually see anything because your eyes are closed and it's dark there. Maybe you imagine seeing yourself on the mat. Just kind of tune into your visual sense in whatever way that that makes sense to you. Notice any sounds that you're hearing. So obviously there's my voice. Maybe you hear your breath. Maybe there's birds, or maybe your neighborhood has people moving around like mine. Engage your sense of smell. Does the place that you are practicing have any scent to it? Do you have candles? Do you have incense? Or are you wearing a particular lotion? Or is there just the scent of fresh air? Just notice anything you might smell. Also notice your taste, even though that seems odd. Do you have a taste in your mouth? Leftover coffee, maybe you've already had lunch. Maybe there's no taste and you notice that. Notice your thoughts now, if they're trying to create stories around all of these things that we're paying attention to. And if so, just kind of tell yourself, that's just the mind doing what it does. And come back into feeling your body now, back into your sense of touch. And then cycle back into your hearing. And then your sight. And then your smell. Your taste. And again, notice your thoughts. All of these things trying to help us make sense of our world. Our senses and even our thoughts. And yet, all any of them have is comparison to the past. So we're constantly comparing what we're experiencing or thinking to what has already occurred, because that's basically our frame of reference. It's been said that your brain is simply a database of the past. So just knowing that can often help us shift our perspective. So come back into feeling your entire body on the mat. Begin to move your fingers and toes a little bit and start deepening your breath. And then just go through those movements that we usually do. Just take yourself through this slow re-inhabiting of the body, coming back into full awareness of our senses in our environment that we're currently in. Stretching however we need to stretch, hugging our knees in or bending the knees, and eventually rolling to the right to just rest for a couple of breaths in the fetal position. When you are ready, you'll push yourself all the way up to sitting and find that same straight, comfortable spine that you had at the beginning of class. And as you find that nice, straight, comfortable spine, we're just going to let the hands rest palms down on the knees or thighs today. Shoulders are down. I'm going to ask you to do a lunar breath without using your hands. I know some people will just freak right out, and some of you will be like, oh, cool. So whichever one you are, awesome. Give it a shot anyway. I'd love for you to close your eyes And either imagine or actually do your best to inhale through your left nostril and exhale through your right nostril every single breath. Make it a slow breath, make it a mindful breath. Inhale through your left, exhale through your right, no hands. And so finish out the breath that you're on and just simply breathe normally through both nostrils for a moment. And then slowly bring your palms together in front of your heart. So we always start with gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most powerful emotions. They say there can be no joy without gratitude. Gratitude always precedes joy. So take a moment in gratitude. I'd like you to find your own thing to be grateful for from your practice today. What in the last hour can you be grateful for? And then can you be grateful for your practice as a whole? And can you be grateful for your body? Can you be grateful for your breath? Can you be grateful for your mind? Can you be grateful for that beautiful heart that you have? Can you be grateful for the fact that you're alive right now, right here, today, in this moment? How amazing is that? Take one more huge inhale through your nose. Exhale with a happy sigh. Palms to the forehead, just a reminder to be present. Palms to the lips as a reminder to speak your truth. Palms to your heart as a reminder to keep the heart open, wide, wide open, so that love and kindness and compassion can flow both ways. Thank you guys for joining me today. Namaste.